I am so excited for this video. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to get the perfect natural goddess glowing from within look. That is something that I have been obsessed for a really long time, but it did take me a while to perfect the makeup before I brought it on the internet. But also, just a quick update, as you can tell, I got a nice little haircut and I also dyed my hair back to black. I dyed my hair like 3 months ago and somehow the dye started to lift 4 months in. It started to look really weird and gross, so I decided to finally get a hair dye plus cut sesh again. I told her to do a trim, but she gave me like a Priyanka Chopra 2000s. Without wasting more time, let's get into the video. So the number one non-negotiable for every glowy look is, I know you're gonna hear me say it for the 50th time, I'm gonna go in with my Rhode Peptide Glazing Fluid. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that all over my face. I love doing my skin prep every single time before my makeup. I feel like it makes my makeup sit so well on my face. I use the same moisturizer also on my eyes because I feel like it gets the job done, and like I don't really think I need an eye cream. So now I'm going to go in with another layer of hydration. So I'm gonna go in with the Cetaphil moisturizer. Ooh. Always use products that have almost like a serum-like consistency to do your base skin prep, because it's going to make your makeup sit on your face better without the skin prep like messing with your makeup. But when I used to go in with really heavy products, like a really heavy moisturizer for like my under makeup skin prep, it never looked good. So always opt in for more serum-like products. Okay, now you guys can hopefully see how glowy my skin is starting to look, so let's get on with the makeup part. So the next step I'm going to do is go in with my iconic London blurring primer and then just put that all over my skin because I want it to look like it is glowing from within. I literally love the way it glows. Like, you're gonna see it. My skin is gonna start to look way more glowy after this product is fully absorbed by my skin. With natural glowy makeup, you always want to make sure that your skin is kind of the star of the show. So you want to do all the things that you can to have a really glowy base. The next step I'm going in with is my Huda Beauty color corrector in the shade Peach Light, and I'm just gonna use it to hide all my blemishes that I have on my face. I'll be putting it right over here, right in this area because I don't want my smile lines to be shown. Right over here, and then spot conceal my blemishes with it. I'm just going to tap the color corrector on my skin because I don't want it to move. This is just going to neutralize all the red in my skin tone so that my skin is going to look more even once all the other products are on my face. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is go in with my concealer, and I'm using the shade NARS, in the shade Praline. I'm going to be honest, this NARS concealer is one of my favorites. I got it at first in like a smaller packaging to really just spot conceal my scars, and the way it concealed my acne scars, I was like, I need to get a bigger bottle. So here I am. A little bit on my chin like that. I'm not going to go in my under eyes because I have another concealer that I use for my under eyes. I'm just going to blend all of this now. I'm going in with a bigger brush because it is way easier to blend my concealer with a bigger brush than a concealer brush because I'm using it for my whole face rather than precision concealing. So, oh my god, I literally forgot to do my eyebrows. Luckily, I haven't done anything on my forehead yet, so I am going to do my eyebrows right after I'm done blending my cheek and my chin concealer. Now, before I blend my forehead concealer, I'm just gonna quickly go in with my NYX brow gel. I'm just gonna brush my hair upwards and kind of just set them in place. I look absolutely fucking crazy right now. What I do is I kind of just push it back down in a straight line so that way it looks a little bit more straight. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my Makeup by Mario's eyeshadow palette, and I'm just gonna use a dark brown shade, and I'm just gonna fill in the ends of my eyebrows so that way they're a little bit more structured. Okay, now that I've done my eyebrows, I'm going to quickly conceal this concealer on my forehead. Another thing I like to do is I like to go in with my concealer and just take like a flat brush and kind of just lightly carve my eyebrows in the front and then a little bit on the top as well. I only do it in the parts where I feel like the brows need a bit more structure. It just makes your eyebrows look sharper instantly. I'm just gonna do the same thing over here. The moment you start putting a lot more concealer around your eyebrows, you're gonna start making them look more blocky instead of just like a natural carved out look. And it's also gonna just look a lot more cakey. And in this tutorial, we want to look as naturally glowy as possible. I'm just gonna quickly blend that now, just tap it in. The next step I want to do is contour, and I'm going in with my e.l.f. Halo Glow in the shade Tan Deep for it. It is more of a glowy bronzer that I have because this whole makeup look is supposed to look like you're glowing from within. I'm just gonna put it underneath my cheekbone right here, and just gonna put a tiny bit on my forehead as well. I don't really go in with a heavy hand because I do want it to look pretty natural, so I'm just gonna start tapping this into this area. We can always build up the product, but we cannot take it out, so always just try to be as light as possible for the first layer, and if it's not something that you're happy with, you can always build it up from there. I'm just gonna go in with the rest of the product on my brush without picking up any more product, and just kind of go on my jawline / neck area, so that way it's fully blended into my neck as well and not looking like my face is a different shade than my neck. So now that I'm done applying cream bronzer, I'm gonna go in with my cream blush, and I'm gonna be using the shade Glassy Cayenne by House Labs. Just putting that on top of my cheekbone. So I'm gonna put it right here. Another blush I use to kind of mix in the Glassy Cayenne is my Encourage blush by Rare Beauty. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm just gonna go in like a dot right here. Like not a dot, that's a lot. That's not a dot. But just like this much, like a dot-ish. I do love blush a lot, so I do go in with a lot of blush. You don't have to go in with this much blush, but I personally like going in with this much blush because I am going to blend it out with my concealer after, so it's not gonna look as harsh as you're gonna see it look right now. So to blend in my blush, I'm gonna use a more packed bristle brush by Refi, and I'm just going to use that to tap my product into my skin. And I'm also gonna go in my under eye a little bit because I love the way a blushed under eye looks on me. My fave. I literally love it. So good. Also gonna take it towards my eyelid as well because I do want my eyelids to look more pinky for this look. Now that I'm looking like a borderline clown, I'm gonna go in with my Tower 28 concealer in the shade NoHo, and it is a very creamy sheer concealer, and it is perfect to fuse the blush with the concealer. It is the perfect concealer to use for that. I'm just gonna use a little bit. I feel like I'm running out of this already, but this bottle, I bought it all the way in 2024, or honestly even the end of 2023, and it's been with me since then. This concealer, it's gonna last you a long time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put it right here, a little bit on my nose to reverse contour it, and then right here, and of course the cat eye wing right here. I'm also gonna put it right here so I can blend my concealer with the blush. I like to just blend the two now, and to blend this side. Oh my god. Literally your hands will start hurting from like the amount of blending you need to do because my hands are tired. Once you're done concealing your face and mixing the blush and the concealer together, I'm just gonna go in with my brush that has all the product on it, the concealer, put it all over my face to just blend everything evenly. Now I'm gonna be going in with my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. This setting spray is literally perfect for making your makeup look like skin and extremely glowy. I am such a huge fan of this product. I love it. This is like my third bottle. Just gonna... Now that my face is done setting, I'm gonna go in with my Huda Beauty powder in the shade Banana Bread, and I'm just gonna put it under my eyes and a little bit on my smile lines and my T-zone just so that those parts don't get oily, but I'm not gonna put it all over my face since it's a glowy look, so that way the glowiness can stay put. Just take a little bit like that. All I'm gonna do is just press it under my under eye to give me that airbrushed look. Look at the difference without with. Just because it's a glowy look, that doesn't mean we're not gonna use powder products at all. We're just gonna use powder products that make us glow even more. So that's why I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the shade Medium. I'm gonna lightly just circular motion my brush in there, just take the excess off, and then just lightly graze it onto my face. With the same bronzer, I'm just gonna quickly contour my nose. I'm just gonna make sure that my nose bridge is defined for this look and just lift my nose up. Just bring it up a little bit in the front to cover your actual tip, like a tiny bit, nothing crazy, like half the tip. I also like to just go on the top and make this area more button-like. Then what I do is I go in with my Makeup by Mario, and then I'll go in with this color, and I'm just gonna take that, slightly put it on the tip of my nose, highlight this part of my nose because that's what is going to give you that lifted effect. Boom, a nice cute lifted nose. Now it's time for my favorite part, which is the powder blush, and I'm using the Say powder blush in the shade Amore. It is kind of like a bright pink blush, but I'm so excited to see how it will look on my skin. I'm just gonna use this blush brush and just lightly circular motions into my blush. Take the excess product off because it looks like it's pretty pigmented, so I don't want that all over my skin. I'm gonna just slightly brush it over my blush. I'm just gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm literally just going in light circular motions. Now for the eye look, I'm gonna go in with this random palette that I found in an Ulta kit 5-6 years ago. I don't know what any of these shades are, but they're so freaking good. But I'm gonna go in with this darkish glittery pink. And since this look is more of a glittery makeup look, I'm gonna just use that to pack it on my eyelid to give me more of that shimmer shine. I'm just gonna really make an emphasis in the inner part of my eye because that's what makes it look more open. I'm just gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna kind of just bring it into my lower lash line a little bit. After just putting a little bit of glitter, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my finger, and I'm gonna go in with this gold chrome palette. Just kind of put that on my eyelid, just pack it onto the front of my eyelid. I'm just using the same gold glitter and just putting that in my lower waterline, top waterline. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is go in with a burgundy waterline pencil. This one is by L'Oreal. I'm gonna put that underneath my eyes. I'm just gonna bring it to the middle of my eye because it just makes it look elongated and more open. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Now I'm gonna quickly curl my lashes so that way I can do my eyeliner and mascara. I'm going in with the Shiseido lash curler because it makes my eyelashes look like I have extensions, and I don't. Like, look at the difference between the eyelash curler and no eyelash curler. It makes such a huge difference. I never thought that it would until I tried it. Now it's time for the eyeliner, and I'm gonna be going in with my Judy Doll eyeliner, and look at how fine the tip is. So much room for precision with such a fine tip liner, and it gives me more control over my eyeliner and how I want it to look. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just extend my lower lash line and just bring that like up like that. Now I'm gonna go in with my telescopic mascara and just use that to lengthen my eyelashes. What I do is I kind of just coat all my lashes and then I flick the back part of my eyelashes outwards, so that way it can look more flared out and give my eyes that more elongated almond eye effect. Now I'm gonna take a flat brush again, and I'm just gonna go in with this palette. I know there's like nothing on here, but there's like a little bit of color here, so I'm gonna use that pigment, put it on my nose here to really accentuate the front of my nose. I love doing that to give me a more button nose effect. I'm just gonna do that here on my nose bridge as well. Use that same pigment and just go in with my inner corners again. Now I'm just going to set my face one last time to get the glow back before I go in with my lips and more highlighter to make this look more glowy. Part 2, let's begin. So I got a call and my video stopped recording, and I thought I was filming my lip liner process on camera, but turns out I wasn't. So I'm just gonna explain to you what I did. So the first thing I did was I lined my lips like usual using the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in the shade Hog Gossip, and then I filled it in with my Makeup Forever lip liner in the shade Up and Down Tan. And then the last thing I did was I went in with Limitless Brown lip liner and just lined the bottom of my lips and the top of my lips just in the middle to make them look more pouty. And then I just used my NARS concealer in the middle of my lips to kind of just make them look a little bit lighter. So that's where we are until now. The last thing I was planning on doing before I found out that I was not recording was I'm gonna go in with my Fenty Beauty lip gloss and just finish my lip combo off. And I'm using the shade Fussy Heat. I'm just gonna quickly use that. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury highlighter in the shade Pillow Talk Medium. I'm gonna just bring this highlighter in all the points of my cheeks that you will probably see the light hit anyways to make it look more glowy. And I'm just gonna put it right here as well because the light also hits you over there. I'm just gonna use the same blush brush that I used, and I'm just gonna tap it into my skin, slightly tap. So the very last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my beauty spots with my liner again. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna accentuate my already existing beauty spots, and then I'm gonna make some new ones. Okay, this is the final makeup look. I have finished my makeup and I'm so excited to do the hair reveal. Clips off. Oh my freaking gosh, I look unreal. I love the way I'm looking right now. Okay guys, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what video I should post next. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. I will see you guys next week. Bye!